So we will continue from what we stopped last week. So it's we talk about the calendar and we did a small quiz on it. So today we are just, to be relaxed and just do a little bit more on Java review because we finished all the basics of Java. We wanted to just review it to check if we remember them or not. Okay, so let me share my screen now. All right, so let me get my chat window up. So can you guys type in your answer in the chat window? I get one answer now. Two answers. Okay, so the right answer is A. So why it is A? Because there's no reason to talk about because that's the parent of all the errors, and we talked about that in our class. That's good. So we have the majority of the class get it right. So now let's move on to the next one. Is it necessary that each try block must be followed by a finally block? True or false? One answer, two, one more student have not given me an answer yet. Okay, so right answer is B. Right? It's not required. It's not necessary. As long as you have catch, that's okay. But as a best practice, if you handle some resources, it's better to have the finally block so you can put code there because the finally block is always executed. It's always executed, okay? All right, so let's move on to the next question. What is the default value of add variable? I get one answer. Get two. I get three answers. So to get it right, so let me ask you, Holly, can you explain it why A is the right answer?
Um, I'm not sure, but I think because the default value has to be an int.
Yeah, if you use an object, if you do not give it a value, okay, if you got an object, you do not give it a value, that's null. Default value is null. For double, default value is 0.0. For a Boolean, the default value is false. For integer, the default value is 0. The byte is a type of integer. Okay. So that's why it is 0. All right, let's move on. So let me put something to separate it. So what is the correct syntax for main method of a Java class? I got 2 answers. I got 3. Okay. All right. So the right answer is C. That's correct. Now most of you get it right. Okay. So let's move on to the next one then. So what is the correct syntax to output hello world in Java? I got 2 answers. Good. You all get it right. D is the right one. Okay. Let's move on. Let me just put in a separate here. But how do you insert comments in Java code? I get 2 answers. I get 4 answers. Okay, the correct answer is A. If you use B, then you have to have the ending asteroid and the backslash. Okay, all right, that's the right answer. It's A. Good. Let's move on to the next one. Let me put it separate here. Which data type is used to create a variable that should store text? That's easy, right? Right, good. D is the right answer. Nothing is difficult to us. Okay, let me go to the next one then. How do you create a variable with the numerical value 5? Cool. All right, B is the right answer. That's good. So let me put the separator here so we can go to the next one. Which method can be used to find the length of a string? All right. So if you are not sure, you can go to find the string class and see what method it has. The answer is D. Okay, good. So let me do a separate here and go to the next one. The value of a string variable can be surrounded by single quotes, true or false. One answer, 2, 3. Okay, the right answer is the 4. So what does we do with single quote? And let me ask Peter, you have the right answer. So what does we do with the single quote in Java?
I don't really know. I just know that like you can't do single quotes with strings.
Okay. Single quote in Java, we use it for character. So you created a char variable, a char, then you use a single quote. Okay. All right. So let me put it separate here. And let's move on to the next. Which method can be used to return a string in uppercase letters? The one answer, 2, 3. Okay, the right answer is C, 2 uppercase. Now, what I need to explain to you guys, this is a convention in Java, okay? The class name, the first character should be uppercase. The method, the first should be lowercase. But then the word, okay, the first one of the word should be uppercase. So that's why looks like that. That's the convention, okay? If you create your own method in the future, you follow this convention. Of course, if you give like a lowercase u here, it's not a problem for yourself. For string, of course, it's a problem because it has been defined for string. It's like this. And the Java is case sensitive, so that's why you cannot use lowercase. But for you, if you create your own method, and if you use in the lowercase here, it's not a problem. It's not an error, but you just do not follow the convention. Okay. All right. So let me put it separate here. Now let's go to the next one. Which operator can be used to compare two values? One answer, 2, 3. I only get 3 answers so far. All right, you all did it right, so I'm not going to tell which one is the right one. So because 4 of you did it right, so let me just go to the next one then. And let me just explain it a little bit. This does not exist in Java. This does not exist in Java, okay? If you separate them, it exists in Java, but you put them together, it does not exist. This is not a comparison. It is not a comparison. It's an assignment, okay? All right, so let's move on to the next question. To declare an array in Java, define the variable type with. All right, so I got a different answers this time. Okay, so what does it do? So what is the right answer? To declare an array in Java, define the variable type with the square bracket. Okay, so that's how you declare an array. So let's say here, let me just do it here. If I say int ABC, then you do that. You see here, it's a square bracket, right? And of course, you can just know this is what you make it confused, right? Oh, if I define an area like that, this is for you to give the values. If you declare an area, you initialize it with the values. But when you declare an area, the data type, and then the square brackets. Okay, right? So now let me just go back and put it in a separate here, and then go to the next one. Which method can be used to find the highest value of x and y? The two answers, 3. I expect one more answer. Okay, the right answer is A. There's no such method for math class, okay? There's no such method, only this one. All right, so now let's move on to the next one then. How do you start writing a while loop in Java? I get 2 answers. All right, you all get it right. So I'm not going to see which one is the right one. Let me just do the separate here. So, all right, so let me go to the next one then. Which statement is used to stop a loop? One more student. One more student. I need one more answer. Good. So right answer is A. If you use B, it's too harsh. B actually will exit your entire application. C will stop the loop. It will also exit your method. So A is the right answer. Okay, A is the right answer. All right. Of course, both B and C will stop the loop. Will stop the loop. Okay. All right. The next one. Spend 10 minutes to write a Java application that will use an array list to store 5 user input. I want you to use a scanner. After you get all the 5 user input, sort the input ascending in the array list. Then print them out one by one. Okay, just go ahead and do that. Let me copy these requirements to you. Okay, so go ahead and do this. So this tests you that you can write, you can use a array list. And you know, if you use a array list, you can easily sort it. And then of course, you wanted to get the user input scanning. How do you get the user input using scanning? You need to remember that. So after you get that, okay, print them out one by one. Go ahead and do that. You can use Google search. Okay, you can refer to the old code we have and whatever you want to use. I just want you to get this done. I will check your work one by one. So all of you need to do it. If you have a question, you can speak up and ask me, and I'm here. And you can also search website. I will mute my microphone here because there is some noise from the room next to me. Yeah, you can use your string, your string. You can do numpy, that's also okay, up to you. I really did not specify that, so whatever you want to do, it's okay. You know, a real list, you can just sort it quickly. Okay, if you finish there, you can raise your hand there. Or you just send me a chat message here, so I see that. I will give you enough time to do that. I really wish that you can get this done. Once you get this done, I feel happy because that shows me that you have most of the skills we wanted to gain in level 2. That's great. I get one student complete. So I will wait until 7:35. So Abraham, you can have a break. You can come back at 7:35. And I will give the students more time. Oh, I got 2 students finished. All right, that's great. So then let me check your work, okay? All right. So yeah, take like 3 minutes break. Peter, you told me that you needed to go at 7:30. If you need to go, then you just send your code to me in the chat window so I can take a look at that. But if you do not have to go, then just have a break, come back at 7:35, and I will just check. All right, good. So 7:35, I will ask you to share your code first. So I want you guys to print out one by one. So you need to traverse over the realist. And that's a test on loop. Of course, you could test on condition, right? If you wanted to, check something, and then you are tested on the input as well, and then you are tested on a realist. You test on sorting. You're quick, so you both are really quick. That's good. All right. So Peter, can you share your code? Or you missed one step, sort. So you did not do sort. So Abraham, can you share yours to me? Can you share your screen, Abraham? Okay, you see why you get a string. Okay, you also did not do sorting. Actually, I asked you guys to sort it once you get the array list, right? You sort it and then print it out. right? Can you guys continue and coordinate and finish that? And then you also, Abraham, I ask you to print them out one by one. That implies I really want you to use a loop to print out it, not just to print out the array, use the array list itself. So you need to print out the items one by one. All right, 3 more minutes, then I will stop. You get them into the array list, you sort the array list. If you sort the array list, actually, that's just one method. Yeah, you just sort it by alphabet, yes. Anyone finished? Good. All right. So can you share me again, Peter? Share your code to me. Very good, very good. So it's still, you know, the printout, I really do not like that part. I really want you to use a loop to print them out. Of course, you see you print out the list, the array list itself, but I really want you to use like a full string, something like that, to print them out. That's better. All right, so I want you guys to stop here. Let me just check your work. So Hardy, can you share your code to me? So let me check how far have you achieved.
Yeah, I did collections.sort too.
Okay. All right, so you also need to do the loop, okay? I encourage all of you to do the loop. Use loop, because I said one by one. Print them out one by one. All right, so how about you, Jeff? Can you share your code to me? Even you have not finished, it's okay. I just wanted to take a look at it. Yeah, you needed to just get the user input. You use next, okay? You created the scan, that's good. So in 910, so then you know 915 is really not necessary. So you just ask the user to give you the user input. You use a scan dot next. That will help you get the user input. And then you get the user input, you add it to your array list. So you create an array list name, that's good. Okay, all right. So I think that's what I have, and we do have time. So let me just continue lecturing for a little bit. Very good. So if you learn Java and if you get into high school and you needed to do, you may want to do AP computer science test. Why? Because in the AP class, if it's AP class, if you do it and if you get it in high school, and then you save money for your college because you do not have to do this class in college anymore. And the college will treat this class and give you the credit. So let's say you need 120 credits to graduate. And if this class is like 3 credits, then you just need to do 117 credits. Then you can graduate. So you save money. So what does AP computer science test? They just test you those, okay? That's 10 units. 10 units. We open such a class in Academy of Excellence. So if you guys get into high school, if you guys really wanted to take that computer science test, and you can come to do that class as well. And that will be much easier because you get all the knowledge, and I just help you brush on. Then I will give you a lot of tests. Just test your knowledge on it. So prepare you for next level. All right. So let's move on. Hopefully we can finish at least several slides for 13. Okay. So what is the epoch for Java data? Does anyone remember? Jeff, do you remember which date? Which date is the epoch for Java date? Nobody remembers? Let me check the chat window. Yes, good, Jeff, you're right. Okay, so it's 1970. It's January the 1st. Okay, midnight. So that's the epoch time. So how do you compare to dates? Name the methods. There are several ways to do it. Several ways to do it. And if you remember any, just put them in the chat window. Okay? If I give you 2 dates, and what are the ways to compare it? Okay, looks like you forgot. All right, so at least I can remember. I can help you is that you can get that date converted to the ticket. So that ticket number, right? That ticket number you can compare which one is large. And for that, there are several methods before, after. So you can compare them, right? Okay. So what does thread sleep do? What does thread sleep do? Holly, do you remember? What does thread sleep do?
It pauses the loop for the amount of time you want it to.
Right, yes. It will put your application thread into sleep for that many milliseconds, okay? So your application will stop there. If your application has multiple threads, of course, only this thread will stop. Just stop for that much time, okay? It will sleep for that much time. All right, so now we need to get into an advanced, we see it's still basic, it's okay, but it's advanced than what we have learned. What is a method? We talk about a method a lot already. When we use Java, 2 things we cannot avoid in the very beginning: method and the class. Because you see, when I have my Java here, if I open my Eclipse, you see the first thing you need to do, you create a class. So this is a class. And if you need to put a code in, you have to put a code into a method. This is the main method, right? So now we need to learn the concept. So what is the method? We really wanted to get into that. Okay, so let me close this one. Let me close this one as well. So what is the method? A method, also called a function, is a block of code to perform certain actions, which only runs when it is called. It will not be executed if you do not call it. So method provides a way to reuse the code. You define it once, but use it as many times as you want. You can pass data known as parameters into a method, just like what we have here in the main method. You just do not use this data, but actually they are very useful. When you get into advanced Java, you will know what they are used for. But today we're going to talk about that. So you can pass data known as parameter into a method. So methods are bounded to a class. You write method in the class. In Java, everything are in a class. And they define the behavior of a class. So when we talk about the behavior of the class, usually it means the method. What does the method do? What does the method do for that class? Okay? So let me show you, okay? A method must be declared within the class. It is defined with the name of the method, followed by parentheses. Now let's go to our Eclipse to see an example which we use to learn loop. Okay, so what example? Let me show you. So this is the one. You see here is the method. This method is called main, and then you have the parenthesis here. Okay, so that's why the method is defined using the name and the parenthesis. In the parenthesis, that's a list of parameters. You could have 0 parameter, and you could have multiple parameters. Now we will see example, okay? And then these are all keywords, and we will explain them one by one in the future. What does it mean when you create a method like this? Okay? Now, actually, this is the part of the method. Okay? All right, so let me get to this slide. So, Peter, can I get you to help me read this one?
Me?
Yes.
Here's the method name is main. What is the rest of the line? Public static void main string args. First, defines the beginning of the main method body. Defines the ending of the method body. They both together tell the system this is the main method block.
All right. So that means, okay, like this one. So this is the beginning of the body. This is the end of the body of the method, okay? So the method body is defined here. All right, that's what it meant. So the whole thing here creates, or we see, forms the method. So in general, a method has 6 components. So what are the 6 components? The modifier. So what is the modifier? So the modifier is public, private, okay? That defines the access type of the method, i.e. from where it can be accessed in your application. There are 4 types of them. It can be public, can be protected. Then I have another slide to talk about it, okay? Public accessible in all classes in your application. Protected accessible only by the subclass in other packages or any classes within the same package of the protected member class. So we will talk about what is a package, but in the very beginning in our Java class, when you create the project, I ask you guys to create a package, okay? So like this one. So this is a package. So that's what it means. So if you come back to say public, that means everyone can use it. It's open to the public. It's a protected. It's only accessible by the subclasses. Now, what is the subclasses? We will talk about that in the future. Okay. And then there are other 2. So modifiers. The other 2 private. If you tell it this is private, accessible only within the class in which it is defined. Private members is only accessible within this class. Default sometimes is also called a package. Okay, that means you do not give it a modifier. So here, if you take the public out, that means it's default. You don't give it. Usually, it is only available to this package. Okay, only available to this package. That's called a default. So that would defend the first part of this one. Okay, the first part. And then we have 2 more to go. Okay, so let's say the return type. The data type of the value returned by the method, or void if it does not return the value. You see here for our main method, it does not return a value. So that's why you must say it's a void. this method is void. It does not return anything. If it returns what it is returned, then you have to give it the data type. You can say int, or you can say string, but then you have to return a string. Okay, so that's the return type. Okay, then the method name we already said, like the main, that is a method name. It is a single word. You cannot have a space in it. Then the parameter list. So comma separate list of the input parameters preceded with the data type within the enclosed parentheses. If there are no parameters, you must use input parentheses. Just like this one, we have one, okay? We have one parameter, that's argues. And this parameter is what? This parameter is what? It is in the string area. It is an area, a string area, okay? All right. Okay, so that's the parameter. You can have a multiple. All right, let me finish the next slide, then we will end the class for today. So the method is the 6 components, right? Continued. You can have an exception list. We talk about exceptions. And now here is the place for you to put a throws. So I can put a throws here. Throws. And I can put a different exceptions here. We will have some examples there. So that's the exception list, okay? And then the method body, what are you talking about? What is the method body, okay? So let me just give you this diagram. So this is the modify, this is the return type, this is the method name, this is the parameter list, and this is the method body. Okay. All right. So that's what I have for today. And tomorrow, next week, we will come back. We will continue our method. Method is very important. Okay. So we will continue on it. And if you have a question, you can stay. If you do not have a question, and you're free to go.